About the collaboration with language teacher, that's been me and some of my other colleagues. Before we start the collaboration, it should start 5 years ago, right? Yeah, about 5 years ago we started, and then 5 years ago, it was my first year to teach. Yeah, so the first thing I do at the school is to deal with this thing, and then what were my expectation or our expectation as language teacher? We think that okay, now they have some so-called EMI classes, and we think that students in the EMI classes, they should be good at English already. So we think students should be embraced in this atmosphere so that they could have more chance to practice their English. And in such assumption, we think students, their language proficiency is already good enough to understand all the items. But after a few years, we found that okay, some students, they have a lot of difficulties in these classes. So the principal and then the vice principal asked us, the language teacher, to help with this issue. The first thing we did was we assigned some extra work for students to do in the English lesson. For example, we provide glossary from geography lesson, from science, from mathematics. We ask them to spell it, to write sentences, and we even have quizzes on them.
Is it part of your language course?
Yes. And in the first 2 years, we have so-called LAC lesson. And then this lesson was actually an English lesson. It's taught by language teachers. And in this lesson, we asked them to spell a lot of geography terms, write as many sentences as possible. But we found, actually, including me, we found that there are a lot of terms that language teacher can't teach. For example, once I've been asked, sir, what's the difference between precipitation and rain? Why can't I write rain? Why if I write rain, Mr. Lee give me a big cross? I can't explain to them because I'm not a professional in geography. So this is the first expectation. We think students should learn this kind of term in the geography lesson. And just like Ben, they expect students to learn as many words as possible when they give a text to them. But as all of you know, we don't have that much time. So how does it work? So firstly we select reading material and provide it to the E-class, we call them. And then before we do that, we modify the difficulty of the text. And actually I can say this part is very, very important. Because if you just choose a lot of reading material and then give it to the student and ask them, okay, read it, then you find it, okay, it's difficult, it's impossible. And even some hardworking student, they will think, although I can read it with the help of dictionary, I can't learn many things. I only can learn a few words, I can learn some definition. But if you ask them to write something, they can't, because there's something you have to do after they finish the reading. So the first thing to do before you give them the reading material, you have to modify the difficulty, and you have to highlight some key items to them. After modifying, you can teach a student how to read the text efficiently. And then lastly, you have to guide them to write. And this part, you can ask them to try to look at the reading and try to use it as a model text to write. So they may write similar things to the reading, but it is okay because this is a correct thing to do for them to do. So talking about the details, firstly, yes, yeah, yes, yes. Actually, I modify it and then I will give it to Ben to have proofreading. I'll talk about it in details. Yes. Okay. So firstly, Ben will select this kind of reading material. Maybe you can find this kind of text easily from a book, from your library, or even from the internet. So the first thing you do is for geography teacher, you try to select something which the difficulties is not that high for your student. And the theme should be suitable for your teaching. After that, you can pass it to your language teacher, or you can spend some time on yourself. But if you want to do it yourself, you may want to have some highlights. You have to know there are 3 kinds of vocabulary items. Actually, I've been learning this in Hong Kong U. And to be honest, I'm still a student in Hong Kong U. I'm a student in I'm at LAC. So these 3 words you may find it strange. The first one is subject-specific vocabulary. That means some words your student can only learn it in geography. For example, precipitation. You can't expect a language teacher talk about this word in his lesson. If he does it, you think, okay, what are you doing? You're an English teacher. Why are you teaching precipitation? So the second one is general academic vocabulary. That means some kind of vocab. The student may have to use it in different subjects. And then the third one is signaling words. This signaling words is quite important because for a student, they will use this kind of signaling words to write. So that's why you have to highlight these vocabulary items in your reading first. So as geography teacher, you may try to focus on the subject-specific vocabulary.